Hi, welcome to today's video where I'll basically be showing you how you can clean and seal leather car seats. So basically sealing your leather car seats is sort of really important. As if you've got older leather, it's important to condition it and seal it, but if you've got newer leather, then sealing's what's really important. And it basically is going to protect the leather from any kind of spillages, dye transfer or any dirt. Just keep the leather looking new for as long as possible. So first, before you actually apply any sealant, you really need to deep clean them to make sure the sealant can bond properly. So first, just going to start off by hoovering the seat down, making sure you're kind of getting into all the stitching. So you need to make sure it's really clean when you start rubbing the products into the surface. You don't want any bits in there that are potentially going to scratch the leather and cause sort of scuffs. So definitely give it a sort of good hoover before you actually start. So the next thing that you can do is actually go over the seats with a damp microfiber towel. And that's going to really just kind of pick up any of the dust that's left over that the hoover didn't really pick up. So just give it a quick once over with a damp microfiber. It's going to lift any of that excess dirt off there that you might have. Just get the seats quite clean before you actually go into the deep clean process. So the products that I'm actually using to deep clean the leather in this case are the Colour Lock products. So it's a Colour Lock brush and also the Colour Lock mild cleaner. And I find that the mild cleaner is actually really effective. They do have a stronger version, but to be honest, for most situations you're not really going to need it. The mild cleaner, even if you have to go over it once more, is going to be quite effective and not too harsh on the leather either. So I first went in and basically applied it with a microfiber towel. I just kind of rubbed it all over the surface, not really kind of worrying too much about the stitching at this stage and sort of the corners, but just generally making sure the leather's quite clean. Just go over it really quickly with a microfiber towel. It's a foaming product, so it does tend to spread quite easily, and I find it nicer to work with than sort of sprays that are a little bit more difficult to spread around. The foam does work quite nicely. So once you've actually been over the surface with your microfiber towel, the next thing you can use is a stiff brush basically to get into all the corners and the stitching to make sure they're thoroughly cleaned as well. So I am using the Colour Lock brush for this, but any kind of stiff brush will do really. Something that you use maybe to clean shoes is going to work well. As long as it's completely clean and sort of hopefully brand new, then you shouldn't really have any issues. Just make sure it's clean and basically just use it to kind of work the product into the stitching to make sure that's all thoroughly cleaned. There's kind of a lot of sort of dirt can build up in these areas, so you definitely want to make sure you give these a bit more attention. Then once you've actually cleaned them, you want to kind of remove any of the products that's left on there so that when you next apply the sealant it bonds properly. So for this I'm just using a damp microfiber towel to remove any excess that might be on there. You also just want to give the seats a little bit of a buff with a dry microfiber towel to make sure you're not applying the products when it's actually wet. So just give them a quick dry afterwards. So then you're ready to apply your leather sealant. So really up to you which leather sealant you use. I personally use Gion's Leather Coat. I think it works really well. I get kind of quite good durability out of it. Normally around 3 months before it needs applying, and it leaves a nice finish. It's not too shiny and it's easy to apply. So what I'm using for this is a microfiber applicator. So I find that it's best to kind of spray it onto the applicator first and then just kind of massage it around so that it's evenly coated. You don't want to kind of leave any high spots that are going to be visible actually on the seat. Then give the seats a quick spray just to make sure you've got enough product, and then use the microfiber applicator just to work it into the surface. You're probably going to want to pay more attention to the sides of the seat, the kind of bits that where friction is going to rub up a little bit more, because main reason you use these leather sealants is to kind of reduce the friction so that they're not easily worn and they're not as prone to scratching. So definitely be sure to give the sides of the seats a bit more attention. Then once you're actually done applying your leather sealant, all you need to do is go over it around an hour later. It really depends on which products you're using, but for Gion I find that an hour is enough time to let it cure really. Then just go over with a microfiber towel and buff off any high spots that you might have. And then your seats are going to be like quite well sealed, and you're not going to probably need to do this process again for a few months really. So thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you have, then definitely be sure to give it a like, comment down below if you've got any questions, and subscribe for weekly detailing videos.